So in this video, we're going to continue graphing quadratic functions, but in this case, instead of using the table, we're going to use transformations, right? There's a couple of different transformations. The first one is the reflection, right? The reflection is when that value of a, in the case of a parabola, is negative, so it's going to reflect down on the x-axis. So everything that is on top on the y-axis is exactly the same, but it's going to be up and down, and it's going to be exactly the same distance and everything. Right? The stretch, right? It means that when that value of a is greater than 1, it's going to have a stretch, right? That absolute value of a, right? Because it's also going to have a stretch if it opens down, right? But in this case, 2x squared, so that means that it's going to have a stretch. It's going to be like a thinner graph. It's going to be closer to each other. If a is between 0 and 1, exactly the absolute value of that a, that means that the graph is going to be like wider, right? So it's called a compression, right? Now, this one is, if I'm subtracting to the variable, in this case to x, right? That graph is going to move absolute value units of h to the right. So that graph is moving to the right, right? So think about that. This point right here is 0, right? 0, 0. For it to be 0, if I'm subtracting, I have to subtract that same value. We're going to see it later, so you can see it, right? The same here with, if it's going to move k units to the opposite. So in this case, it's moving up because k is positive. If k will be negative, it's going to move down. The same here. H is negative, so it's moving to the right. If h is positive, it's going to move to the opposite, right? And then on that one, I can combine both of them. So let's see this information on the exercise. So I'm going to use transformation on this case because it's telling you to use, right? So we're going to sketch this graph. My first step is that I'm going to try to sketch. I don't know if I have a lot of space to do it, but I'm going to sketch the graph, let's say in blue, of the x squared. Right? As you know, -1 square is 1, and 1 square is 1. So this one is y equals x squared. Now, in this case, I'm going to start with the vertex. I'm subtracting 1 to the vertex, so that means that I'm moving 1 unit to the right. Remember that this one, this small one, is 0.5, so I'm moving 1 whole unit to the right. And now, because this one is -3, I'm going to move 1, 1, 2, and 3 units down. So this graph, now my vertex is going to be down here. And you can see that the vertex in this case is 1, -3, just by looking at the equation. Now that means that everything is moving down at the same time. So this one is going to move 1, it's going to move 1 to the right, and then 3 units down. So that means that I'm going to have that this point is right here. The same here. So I'm moving 1, 1 to the right, and 1, 2, and 3 units down. And that is my graph, right? And that is my graph. The next one. Okay, so in this case, I'm moving. Let me do it the same so you can see it. You don't have to do it every single time, but it's going to be easier for you to see it, right? So, again, this is y equals x squared. So my graph is moving 1 unit to the right again, and then the 2 units up. So again, I'm moving 1, 1, 2. So this is my vertex now. 1 to the right, 2 up. At this point, again, it's moving 1 to the right and 2 units up. Right? This point, the same. 1 unit to the right, 1 and 2 units up. So right here. Right? Remember that we have the axis of symmetry, so everything that we mark to the right, we're going to mark to the left. So my axis of symmetry is right here. And that is my graph. The next one again. I'm gonna try to mark it without the. So remember that this one, the vertex is gonna be 2, 4. So positive 2, 4 is this one right here. Right? Remember that on the x squared we have a point right here. So this one is moving 2 to the right, 1, 2, and 3, and 4 units up. Right here. Okay. My vertex is wrong, right? Because it should be 2, 4 instead of 1, 4. Right? Now the same. My axis of symmetry is here. So that point that I mark 1 unit to the right, I'm going to mark it 1 unit to the right. Again, remember that on my x squared, my parent function, I have this point or unit right there, right? Because it's 2, 4. So now I'm moving 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, and 4 points up. So it's this point right there. And I'm going to mark it here. That's my graph. Okay, so this one I have a negative x plus 2 squared minus 2, right? So that means, first of all, that I'm going to have a reflection. So that means that graph is going to up and down, right? And now I have x plus 2, right? So let's start by identifying my points. So again, I'm on this one I prefer so you can see it better. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? So this is the graph. This is the graph of y equals x squared, right? My reflection, let's mark right here so you can see it, is this graph over here that I'm gonna mark on purple. Right? So this graph right here is the reflection. So this is y equals negative x squared, right? From this one, instead I'm gonna move, right? So that means that I'm gonna move 2 to the left. Again, it's moving to the left because this is, I'm going to the opposite of x. 1 and 2, and then 2 down. So 1 and 2. So my vertex is going to be again 1 and 2, 1 and 2, that point right here, right? So this point again, I'm working with the reflection because it's negative. I'm going 1, 2 to the left, 1 and 2 down. So it's this point right here. So again, I have this point right here because my axis of symmetry is this one right there, right? And now again, this point that was marked here, I'm going 1, 2, 1, 2, right here, 1 and 2. Right, so again, 1, 2, 1, 2. And the same with, so I'm going to mark that point right here. The same, so 1, 2, 1, 2. And that's my graph on green. And that's it for this lesson. May the force be with you.